You again? What are you doing in my husband's office? You and Fëanorian. Never in the right place at the right time. So, did you find what you were looking for? Share it with me and maybe I won't call down to the winery for my husband's army of mercenaries. Let me see that journal. By the stars. He killed his own father, and he plans to kill me. Oh, he's a cretin and a monster. And yes, pouring wine into people just so you can eat them and gain unnatural power is pretty bad too. Damn it! I drank the wine! I suspected something was amiss. Since I arrived, we haven't consummated our marriage, and he spends his time down in the winery, locked in his alchemy laboratory with his mercenaries. Plus, he covets my family's fortune. But a vampire... makes sense. This vineyard could be a motherlode in the right hands. My hands, friend of Fëanorian, not my husband's. I assume you're here to stop him? Help Fëanorian finish the task, and I'll forgive him for the affront he visited upon me and my family. Make sure you do. I have no intent to serve as a wine glass for my husband.
Ithelia, I suppose I owe you an explanation.
Of course you do, but I don't care. Just talk to your friend and deal with my husband.
All right, if you say so. Lord Valente is well and truly into the auction now, so we have a bit of time. I never expected to find Ithelia here with you, though. What did you discover? And what did she mean by deal with her husband? Interesting. He really spells it out, doesn't he? Alchemically enhanced mushrooms used as fertilizer for alchemically treated grape seeds. And the hunger. I wasn't losing control, it's an effect of the grapes. Well, that's a relief. That does seem to be the general idea. If we allow this to spread, the ramifications will be staggering. Even relatively peaceful vampires might be tempted to start killing out of hand. We need to stop this. What were you and Ithelia discussing? Oh, yes. I do suppose I owe her for that. I'm no hired assassin, but I do make a habit out of disposing of dangerous vampires. We will do what is necessary to end this threat. Nothing more, nothing less. And that begins with destroying the wine. Head downstairs and scout the area. I'll follow along shortly. I need to try to make things right with Ithelia. And maybe I have something in my alchemy kit to deal with the wine in her system. Just the smell of it makes me hungry. We were betrothed. A marriage arranged by our families. There might have been some affection there, but it was mostly a business agreement. When I became a vampire, I just left. I thought it would be a mercy. As much as I trust you and value your company, my friend, that's not a story I feel like sharing. Especially not here and now. Maybe someday. I hope you understand. No, I didn't want to hurt anyone I knew. Ithelia, my family. So I simply left. Eventually, Count Verandis found me and made me part of House Ravenwatch. Ravenspire is a long way from Somerset, and West Weald is farther still. I never expected this. I'm not going to go out of my way to kill Gallio, if that's what you're asking. We do need to destroy his operation, though. This elixir turned wine is too dangerous to distribute to aggressive vampire clans. What happens after that is up to him. Ithelia, before we talk, let me see if I've got anything that will flush the wine from your system.
I'm not drunk, Fëanorian. I only had a glass or two.
You lead while I look around. Valente's journal said he had a coven of vampires. We should expect a fight. captives, and apparently under the influence of the wine. Friend, let's speak. These workers must be some of the subjects Gallio mentioned in his journal. They're on the verge of turning into blood fiends. I might be able to mix a counteragent with the proper ingredients. Grape pulp left over from the Vesper Valente wine, wax flower petals to hasten the recovery process, and imperial oak tannins to make the remedy effective topically. Find those items around the winery while I make preparations.
I'm with you, cohort.
Good. I was starting to worry. I'm glad you're back. Did you find everything we need? Once I've brewed the counteragent, pick up the bucket and splash the remedy over our poor patients. It's not the most dignified way to administer medicine, but it works without putting either of you at risk. And that should do it. You're free to administer the cure. Looks like the effects are already subsiding.
You saved us. Please, you need to stop him. Thank you for helping us. Please tell me you're also here to stop Lord Valente. We really thought things were looking up. Lord Valente had such grand ideas for the vineyard and winery. He even asked us to try a new vintage he was working on. We felt so honored. Then we started to get sick, and he locked us down here. Yes, it's right through those doors. He's growing weird mushrooms and has all kinds of alchemical equipment. Destroy his equipment and burn the mushrooms. That should put an end to his vile experiments.
We need to destroy that laboratory. You scout ahead while I work on freeing these people. I'll meet you there. Right behind you, friend.
I knew there was something wrong about you.
Won't ruin all my hard work!
This is it. The laboratory. We need to destroy it all. Let me explain, friend. Valente's alchemical equipment is truly impressive. It's a shame we have to destroy it, but we need to make sure no one else can continue his experiments. These vats turn the mushrooms into a fertilizer for the grapes. Increase the flames under the vats by adjusting the valves. That will increase the pressure. After that, set fire to the mushroom planters, then get clear before the vats explode. A part of me hates to see valuable equipment go to waste, but we can't allow more of the Vesper Valente to be created. Now come on, let's do this. Turn up the flame valves as high as they'll go. I'll get rid of these. Now, the mushrooms. A few well-placed torches should ignite the entire harvest. That's it. Let's get out of here. Ithelia, about your husband.
Not now, Fenorian. I have more important matters. As I was saying, I'll compensate double wages for all who remain. With your expertise, we'll revive the traditional methods and be producing excellent wine in no time.
What Lord Gallio was doing, his father must be rolling in his grave. Drovir has agreed to stay on and work for Lady Valente, destroy these vile grapes and plant our usual seeds. Can the vineyard be salvaged? This one hopes so.
Thank you again for saving us down in the winery. I thought if I ever got out of that cage, I'd leave and never come back. But Lady Valente offered quite the sum to stay. Maybe things really will be different under new management.
I assume that explosion that rocked the vineyard was your doing? You and Fenorian, I suppose? I'll take it that you accomplished what I asked. Never mind. Speak to Fenorian. I have a business to set right. No? Don't say another word. If the Legion comes to investigate, the less I know, the better. I'll hire extra protection for the grounds, though. Sentry Helvius could use the help. At least until we clear out the rest of those vampires. Why not? I don't need a husband for that, and I have twice the mind for business than Gallio ever did. If you find yourself in possession of a large fortune in the future, come see me. Perhaps I'll be ready to give marriage another go by then.
That was excellent work, friend. We destroyed Lord Gallio's laboratory and managed to rescue the workers he experimented on. There might be some ramifications over remaining Vesper Valente, but it won't become the sweeping problem I feared. We didn't have to. Ithelia told me she interrupted the auction and told Lord Gallio in a voice loud enough for all to hear that the Ravenwatch was on the premises. One mention of House Ravenwatch and the invited vampires fled the estate. Perhaps a few bottles were carried off, but none of them had time to load any casks or crates before they fled. I'll track them down eventually. And before I take my leave, I'll make sure the remaining vintage is destroyed. Ithelia is set on taking control and turning the vineyard and winery into a profitable enterprise. I have no doubt she'll succeed. And speaking of succeeding, your help was invaluable in stopping Lord Gallio. Please, take this with my thanks. I suppose you're off on another adventure now, friend. Know that I appreciate the assistance you provided, and the companionship. If you ever have need of House Ravenwatch, just send the word. We always have time for our friends. Eventually, after I make sure any remnants of Lord Gallio's vile experiments are taken care of here. Then I may check on the auction guests that scattered and see that any absconded bottles of Vesper Valente are dealt with. There's always something.